to me, the main theme that I really started kicking in Q4 last year is long risk assets is fighting the Fed. Cryptos are among the riskiest of assets. They certainly got expensive and kind of speculatively excessive last year. But Bitcoin is the least risky among cryptos. And Bitcoin is in a unique stage and phase, I think, of transitioning from a risk on to a risk off global digital store of value, replacing gold and becoming global collateral. So I think that's going to be happening this year. I fully expect, I look at it as a dream that the Fed will be able to tighten 4 times, because I fully expect the stock market will wobble and stop them from tightening, because that's the problem now. We have the highest inflation in 40 years, and Fed's got to do restraint. We have an emboldened Federal Reserve Chairman Powell, who said he is concerned about how the market views his actions 25 years from now. It means he has to fight inflation, which means the main target for that is the stock market. It's got to stop going up, or the Fed will just keep rising rates until inflation goes down and the stock market stops going up. That's just a fact of history. But Bitcoin fits in, I think, very well in that space. I think Bitcoin is gaining traction with the world knowing that it has to get off zero. More allocators are looking to buy it on dips. We're seeing the shorter term speculators getting stopped out. And I think it's building a pretty good base here around 40,000. It's more likely to appreciate towards 100,000.
But this year, when we're going to see a reversal in these monetary policies, do you think that this is going to be the year where Bitcoin is going to have to prove whether it's fit or not the definition of digital gold?
The key facts are there's outflows in gold, total known gold ETFs, pretty significant outflows. And there's inflows, clear, pretty significant inflows into Bitcoin from all measures of investors, economy, sovereign wealth, treasuries, pension funds, endowments, you name it, individual investors. You ask your typical millennial these days, they don't care about gold, they care about Bitcoin. So that is a clear trend. I think it's going to accelerate. That's just a simple extrapolation to the future of existing trends. That's nothing profound. And it's good, solid reasons for that to continue, partly because the world's going digital. Bitcoin is becoming the digital global reserve asset, and there we have it. So it's not that complicated. It's basically the most significant digital property right in the world, with things like NFTs and all the other cryptocurrencies also representing digital property rights. So to me, that's just part of the natural progression of society, advancing technology, and Bitcoin's right in the center there. And it has that unique store value attribute that people like Michael Saylor have pointed out. So I fully expect that to continue. There's going to be bumps in the road. What I do like this period of, it's basically been at, $43,000 right now. It's the same price as February. And I like the increasing bearish sentiment in a market that I see as an enduring bull market. And it's just at this level and that support. And usually you get the bearish sentiment from people who are impatient and speculatively and leveraged long. It's, that's usually where they provide stops for the longer term, more rightful owners to buy and hold.
Okay, so as far as I understand it, you see the current moment as a period of consolidation for crypto and Bitcoin.
We're talking about Bitcoin. The crypto market, there's 16,000 cryptocurrencies. There's massive speculation. The dog coins are a serious example last year of too much speculative excess in the space, and that's a problem. There's simple rules of economics do not favor prices of a market where there's unlimited supply and ease of entry. That's the crypto market. Like I said, 16,000 a year before there's 8, year before there's 4. I'll go back to my main stalwarts. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and crypto dollars, I fully expect to continue to dominate.
1 year ago, the dominance of Bitcoin was around 70%, while now it's hovering around 40%. So it's been a huge drop in Bitcoin's dominance. How do you interpret this figure? Do you think that's a sign that Bitcoin is not anymore the best horse investors should bet on?
It's the maturation of the advent of the nascent technology, and I think one thing that the dominance of Bitcoin is not so much significant as what's happened in the entire space. Why has Ethereum gone to maybe 10% to 20% dominance now, almost 20%? Why? Because it's creating the infrastructure for that rising tide of fintech, decentralization, DeFi. The problem is there's 16,000 wannabes and there's massive speculation in those space, which is maybe pressuring Bitcoin. Those are going to eventually, some point of that will go away. We all know rules of economics do not favor unlimited supply and ease of entry. So for now, sure, there's going to be a lot of people getting hurt. What happened to Dogecoin and Shiba Inu, I think they're going to go away. But Bitcoin will always maintain that gold-like attribute in a world that's going digital. And it's basically pushing away the old guard gold. And I fully expect it to continue to become a greater portion of the world's investment portfolios.
Okay, so what is the level of support that we should look at in order to be confident about your prediction?
So I think it's building a good base here around 40,000, and I think it's going to take that level, and it's more likely to accelerate towards 100,000. Now, if we get a significant risk-off swoon like we did in 2020, I think 30,000 is pretty much the extreme low. I don't think we're going to see that, and I think it's more likely to appreciate, break above that 50,000 resistance and continue towards 100,000. That's very much not profound. It's just what it's been doing for a long time. And I like to point out the facts of the fundamentals are positive, technicals are positive. And I do like the fact that it's basically the same price as it was since February, and sentiment I sense is getting very bearish, as I can sense from your questions, which is the one thing I like of having, I've been in markets for a long time as a markets guy. I see a fundamentally strong bull market. I see sentiment shorter term getting bearish at support. That's usually a good sign for markets to recover.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
You predict that Ethereum will reach $5,000 in 2022. What are the factors that you are looking at in order to back up these expectations?
Ethereum did something similar to Bitcoin. It has decreasing supply, increasing demand and adoption, but it's in a much different space. It's not the global macro store of value. It's basically becoming the collateral of the internet. And so what I see for Ethereum is one of the key indicators I look for Ethereum is when I look at NFTs, there's so many of them, they're somewhat confusing, but the bottom line for me is they're all denominated in Ethereum, which means demand for Ethereum. Entities that are buying NFTs, like you're hearing from a lot of major corporations, buying NFTs have to buy Ethereum. Then I look at crypto dollars. The wrong word, I think, is stablecoins. All these so-called stablecoins track crypto dollars, and virtually all of them are denominated in Ethereum, which is another demand source and shows the value of Ethereum. So I think that's the difference. Ethereum will continue to appreciate in value. Kind of, saying it gets above 5,000 is not that profound because that kind of was the key levels bumping up against this year versus Bitcoin doing a double. But and Ethereum was up almost 5x last year. So that I don't see going away. It's gaining that dominance in this space in terms of the technology of the world of fintech. So there's going to be some competition. That's what happens with success. The bottom line I see in this space, and this is what I think is going to eventually happen, is the SEC will eventually prove an ETF that tracks an index that tracks the broad market, maybe the top 10 or 12. To me, it's the proper thing. That's what investors want. They don't want to try to pick winners. Let the index track the winners and kick out the ones that don't do well. To me, that's where we're going. We're in early days. But just the fact that the SEC finally approved a futures-based U.S. ETF shows a baby step. It's all going there. And the fact that funds are leaving the U.S. now means it's a matter of time. The bottom line I want to leave with you is the fact that China has banned cryptos and banned Bitcoin mining is more likely means the Western world will embrace and U.S. will embrace. And that's just what's been happening. I fully expect that to continue in 2022.
We saw in 2022 a number of very strong horses coming up, especially competitors of Ethereum, alternative layer one solutions such as Solana, such as Avalanche. So is it wise to dismiss those as mere speculative bets?
It's wise to dismiss the dog coins, for instance, Shiba Inu and Doge. Those are just silly, speculative, excessive play money. That's fine. You can play with all those one. Now, Solana, I'm not dismissing Solana. I'd like the Bloomberg Galaxy Index and most indexes to track Solana because I see on the screens it's number 5 on CoinMarketCap.com. Now, the difference is a year ago, the top 5 included XRP. I think it was Bitcoin Cash. We've had, and then a few years before, EOS was in the top 5. So I'm just pointing out facts of trends that we have a lot of these coins that jump up into the top 5 or 10 and then get pushed away. So that's the trend. Now maybe Solana is different. It maybe these things are different, but that's why I have to be careful. If I'm an investor, focus on an index. Don't try to pick winners. Good luck, because I'm not good enough to do that. An index that tracks the top 5, or top 10 maybe. But the stalwarts I fully expect who will maintain their dominance. That's Bitcoin and Ethereum, prices advance, and the proliferation of crypto dollars. The rest of them are just much less lower probability, and the facts are we've had so many pumps and dumps of the main ones. And I'll leave you with this: when Dogecoin peaked in around April, it was a good sign of a peak in the entire market. And when Shiba Inu peaked in, maybe was it October or so, again, it was also a good sign of a peak in the entire market because of just too much massive speculation. You got to purge that and then let the building begin, just like we had when we ended up with things like Amazon and Google and stuff like that.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3,000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is gunr, and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really, really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.